Hello, I'm Mark Breen, a member of the school committee and the chair of the school building committee. Dr. Goff, superintendent of schools, and I would like to take this opportunity to present a brief overview of the middle school building project. As part of the process that Dr. Goff will explain in more detail, a school building committee was formed over a year ago. There are members from the community at large, the permanent building committee, the school committee, the finance committee, the select board, and school and town administration. Compass Project Management is overseeing the project on behalf of the town. TAP A architects are responsible for the design, and New Vista played a wonderful role in helping us to envision what a modern middle school could look like and how it could function.
We spent the past several years working with the MSBA, who collaborates with municipalities to invest in finding the most fiscally responsible and educationally appropriate solutions to create safe and sustainable learning environments. Built in 1961, Byrd Middle School is near the end of its functional life, with structural and system deficiencies, a layout that does not support adequate delivery of education and programming needs to the students in Walpole. In 2016 and 2017, statements of interest included plans for combining both middle schools at the high school and then building a new high school at the Byrd site. These were both rejected by MSBA. However, the MSBA recognized needs at both middle schools and approved the study of either a single or combined middle school. In October 2019, we were one of 4 districts invited into the feasibility period. And just yesterday, April 14th, we were one of 4 districts recommended for preferred schematic design. At town meeting, Walpole approved $1.5 million to get through the schematic design into town meeting and a vote this fall. The schematic design report will be submitted in July. In August, MSBA will vote to approve the Walpole project. This is when they finalize the scope and reimbursement. The finalized scope and reimbursement is the information that will be brought forward to town meeting this fall, followed shortly thereafter by a town ballot to approve the funding and the project. The town would then move into the design and bidding phase with the MSBA, which lasts approximately 1 year. There'll be a budget associated with the design phase of the project, in which time we would go out to a bidding phase and procure a contractor, start the construction in late 2022 for approximately a 2-year construction time period, with the goal of completion of summer 2024. MSBA required exploration of 7 solution scenarios. The existing Byrd and Johnson sites were deemed the only viable option. There were 19 conceptual options derived from the 7 solution scenarios. In December, the school committee voted to pursue a combined middle school enrollment. The rationale is also outlined in greater detail in the comprehensive education program that articulates our education goals and provides for future flexibility. So we're able to adapt to any changes in programming or teaching methodologies over the useful life of the school. All students benefit immediately from a combined middle school project. This is known as equitable access. So each student receives the resources and the educational opportunities to learn and thrive. The teaming structure of the program aligns more efficiently to the combined model. 1 neighborhood, 1 school, 1 community. This model provides more opportunities for programming and scheduling flexibility. A combined middle school also allows us to utilize our staff in a more robust manner in terms of our curriculum and before or after school programs. And finally, a combined middle school significantly is more cost-effective than building separate projects that could go beyond 10 years to complete. With the consolidated middle school, all single school options are eliminated, narrowing down to 3. Out of those 3, 6 conceptual options were evaluated. These 6 conceptual options were evaluated against these 12 criteria. They range from how well it supports the ed program, to cost, to the impact of the existing school during construction, athletic fields, traffic, our natural environment, and long-range town planning and future growth. After evaluating the several options, the option of B1 was ultimately selected by the Walpole School Building Committee. Option B1 is the new consolidated middle school located between the existing middle school and Washington Street. B1 aligns with the district's vision and meets the education program, which is inherent in teaming, collaboration, inclusion, access, and community. Teaming is at the center of our middle school philosophy. This slide shows how our education program, visioning sessions, and community forums support B1. Grade-level neighborhoods equate to the building geography and drive our core academic spaces. It's organized by 3 grade-level teams and support the school's team-based approach to curriculum delivery. They contain a variety of flexible spaces, special education programs, and student support spaces that are an inherent part of each neighborhood. Neighborhoods should have a feeling of home and that they are comfortable and safe, sending the message to students that they are part of a small learning community, which in turn is connected to the fabric of the larger school. There's equitable access to 21st century learning environments and programming, such as the Technology, Literacy, and Computer Science Lab and a Multimedia and Video Production Lab studio to support curriculum and our robust robotics and middle school news production teams. In terms of performance and enrichment, there's a dedicated auditorium, gym, centralized kitchen, and cafeteria. Outdoor learning spaces where students are engaged in meaningful projects to improve the community. And finally, the visioning sessions express a strong desire to build a school that allows for community access. B1 does a great job providing performance venues, gathering spaces, and athletic spaces. The auditorium, caf, gym can safely be accessed by the community after school, on weekends, and during summer months.
Here we have a floor plan for the 3 stories of the proposed building. The top portion shows the gymnasium, cafeteria, auditorium, and central office that Dr. Goff just spoke to. There is a narrow neck connecting to the academic wing, allowing public spaces commonly used on weekends and evenings to be closed off from the rest of the building. As Dr. Goff just spoke to, far and away the most important element are the classroom neighborhoods. These are shown in the bottom portion of the plan. Each grade could have its own floor with 3 separate teams of students per grade. These very distinctive neighborhood teams would create a small school feel in an otherwise very large building. Next, we have the basic site layout. Note that the fields are intact, as is the tree-lined entrance off of Washington Street. The parking as shown is on the site of the current Bird building. An important caveat here is that the traffic flow and parking layout has not been finalized, although the footprint of the building more or less is. Here we have an even better view of how the building is situated. It fits into the site nicely in that it does not loom over or above the tree line, and that nice view of the building from across the fields remains intact. Again, the tree-lined entrance from Washington Street remains. One way to put the project in perspective is to compare the enrollment in square footage to other recent large middle school projects. Square footage per student can be used as a baseline for comparison. While our project comes in above average, this is almost entirely explained by the inclusion of the auditorium. Notably, our project has fewer square feet per student than other projects that do include an auditorium. The Thurgood Marshall School in Lynn is the MSBA's model school. Communities are encouraged to consider this model as there can be savings in design costs. These savings are only realized, however, if there are no significant changes to the model, such as adding an auditorium or expanding art and music spaces. Upon consideration, we were not convinced that there would be savings and the building would not be designed to meet our program needs. Natick and Braintree are highlighted because these 2 schools are among the most recently built in the state, and they are close to Walpole. The estimated total cost of the project is $116 million, including building construction, site work, project management, design, furniture, technology, and contingencies. Importantly, this is a professional estimate using industry standards, factoring things such as cost per square foot. This is not a ballpark figure arrived at with any input from people like myself. The reimbursement formula from the MSBA at first seems confusing, but this is actually easy enough to understand. Although town meeting will have to approve the entire cost, inclusion in the MSBA program means that the state will pick up a portion of the tab. We start with the base reimbursement rate of 48 to 52%. There are certain green incentives that could push us closer to the 52%. This rate will only include eligible spaces. The auditorium, for instance, is not reimbursable. Further, reimbursement is capped at $333 per square foot. Projects these days typically come in at well above $500 per square foot. At the end of the day, we expect to be reimbursed at a net rate of about 31%. leaving the town responsible for $81 million. Of note, this is a long-established reimbursement formula and was locked in when we were accepted into the MSBA program. It is not at risk should there be a state budgetary shortfall, for instance. The tax impact per homeowner assumes a 3.5% interest rate. The agency that handles the town debt issuance provided this estimate. The average home, highlighted here in yellow, assessed at $556,000, with an $80 million borrowing at 3.5%, will see a tax impact of approximately $450 a year. The figure will be higher for homes with higher valuations, lower for those with lower valuations. Higher and lower building cost estimates are included for comparison. If you're looking for more information, and we certainly hope that you are, we'd like you to take a look at the project website at www.walpole.k12.ma.us or visit the MSBA's website. And certainly if you have any questions or comments, please email us at the middle school project email address. Thank you.